Hello, hello, and the topic today is romantic love. How happy are we and how happy we think we are? Okay, so the other day I had a conversation with a friend. We had a lovely dinner and 2 glasses of wine, and he complained a little bit about his own relationship, but he also told me that he has a sense that almost all of his friends are unhappy in their romantic relationship. And he had called all kinds of theories about what could happen and why could this be, and I shared some of his thoughts and some of his feelings. And I told him about this book by Eli Finkel called The All or None Marriage. And in this book, Eli described kind of 3 main periods in love. He said there used to be the time when people got together because it made sense. It was like an economic relationship. We'll work together, economies of scale, we'll raise kids together, we'll warm each other at night, kind of a unit, a work unit. That was period 1. Period 2 was a period of romantic love. Oh, suddenly we don't just get together because it makes economic sense, but we have romantic love as well. And what Eli is saying is that these days we also hope that our partner would help us become a better self. We are in the path for self-fulfillment, and we expect our partner to do that for us. And what Eli is saying is that sometimes it works, and we get somebody that is a good economic relationship, working together, and we love them, and they help us with self-actualization and fulfillment and so on. And when that happens, it's amazing. But sometimes it's too much to expect from one person, and then we get disappointed because we hope for co-working, romantic love, and self-actualization, and when we don't reach that, we get disappointed. Anyway, we went on and on in this discussion about what is the core issue. And then I asked him the following question. I said, in an objective way, let's compare us to our parents and to our grandparents. Let's think about 30 years ago and let's think about 60 years ago. In objective terms, do you think that we have better or worse relationships now than people had 30 years ago and 60 years ago? And he said, obviously in objective terms, we're much better off. There's more communication, we express love more. I mean, there's lots of things that are sexual freedom, all kinds of things are happening. So the idea was that in an objective term, we're really much ahead of what happened to our grandparents' generation and our parents' generation. And then I said, but are we happier than them or not? And he thought about his parents and grandparents, and he said that he thinks that on average, we're less happy. So how can it be? If it's the case that objectively we're better off, but subjectively we're worse off, maybe this goes back to Eli Finkel's point, is that our expectations are just out of whack. And that's the problem. The problem is not that we are not happy. The problem is that our expectations are so high that we don't think of ourselves as happy. And I think it's very, very common in romantic relationship where people keep on looking for improvements. And it's kind of interesting. For everything in our lives, this idea of looking for improvements is wonderful. This is what creates startups. This is what creates improvement at work. We kind of keep on looking around and saying, what can I fix? What can I improve? What can I do better? Let's open a startup for this. Let's improve this process. Let's do that. What about in romantic relationship? I think that one of the things that happen is that we're using this tinkering, improving, restless approach, not just for our work life, we're also using it for our romantic life. and we keep on asking ourselves, how can we do things better? What can we tinker? What can we improve? And we're never looking at things and are just happy. And I think this is the issue. So I think Eli Finkel was correct that we have very high standards that we compare ourselves to. But I think that it's not just that. I think that the tinkering, improving, restless approach that is so good for people who do startups and so good for innovation and so good, maybe it's a mixed blessing when it comes to a relationship. Because of course there are things to fix. And if you look at your relationship and say, what do I want to fix? Some things will be fixed. But if we keep on looking at our relationship all the time with saying, what can I fix? It means that we focus on the whatever percent empty it is in the glass, and we focus on that. How can I improve? How can I do things? And I think that thought gets us to focus on the negative things, and therefore get us to experience things as more negative than they really are. So are we objectively happier? I think yes. Do we have expectations that are too high? Largely the answer is yes. And are we overly focusing on the things that could become better and looking how to improve them all the time, and that actually gets us to be less happy? I think the answer is yes as well. So here's the question. Can we lower our expectations a little bit? Not hope for partnership, love, and self-actualization. And can we stop a little bit the perspective of trying to figure out how to fix everything? If we can, I think we'll be much happier. Okay, that's it for today. Bye for now.